What's up, Nitro Gang? It is a beautiful Sunday morning, very warm. People don't believe in climate change. It's over 60 degrees right now in January, but that doesn't matter. I have a donut, I have $500 cash, I have a giant coffee from 7-Eleven. That could only mean one thing. We're going another vintage Nitro road trip. Let me tell you about this RC, very interesting. It is one of the coolest, rarest trucks you could possibly have ever gotten in the history of Nitro trucks. This is the Associated Monster GT, also known as the MGT 8.0. It has the largest Nitro engine ever put into a ready-to-run Nitro truck other than the Thunder Tiger EK4. You guys thought the Savage XLK 5.9 was a huge engine? Well, this truck has an 8.0. That means it's a 0.50 displacement. The HPI Savage is a 0.36. Question is, how much am I gonna pay for it? I have $500. Sorry guys, the donut's getting in my way. I'm trying to eat it and count money at the same time. It's kind of difficult. Guys, this is a surprise. I am going to be paying $0 for this truck. One of my fans and YouTube viewers reached out to me and asked me if I wanted an old Associated MGT he had. Lucky for me, of course, I responded to my emails, because I do my due diligence. And now I'm on my way to get it. 7-Eleven has really good donuts. You'd be surprised. And since I am going to be paying nothing for this truck, I figured why not waste some fuel, drive one of my other cars. This is actually T-Max Tony's other ride, the one where he gets, what he gets. Either way, this is a 4.6 liter V8 American muscle, rear wheel drive, Mercury Grand Marquis. This is kind of like the Crown Victoria, except not the police version. It is a civilian version. It is very comfortable. Has nice, comfortable leather seats. You could do burnouts at like 1500 RPM if you wanted to. Right now, we're going to be leaving Staten Island. You could see the Verrazano Bridge there in the background. We are going to be going to Jersey. It's about a 50-mile ride. But of course, when you're in the lap of, vintage 2007 police-style cruiser comfort, that's really no big deal. I'm curious to see how many miles a gallon I'm going to be getting on this. I've actually gotten 30 miles a gallon from this 4.6 V8. But what really matters is this nice long hood. You guys see that hood in front of you? So whenever you could see the hood in front of you, you're in a quite nice car. That's why, high-end cars like Jaguars, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, they typically put giant hood ornaments on their cars because they want the owners to know what they're driving. Unfortunately, this model does not have a hood ornament there in the front, but some of the Lincoln variants of this car did. We're gonna do a little burnout maybe now. Let's see. The road's a little wet. Oh yeah, that was good. For those of you that live outside of America and you don't know much about this car, just know that the engine in this one, the 4.6 liter V8, is basically the same as in the Mustang GT from the early 2000s. That's what we're rolling here, Mustang GT power. I know Gary from Foundry RC will be happy to hear that. Very interesting story about this bridge I'm on right now. It was recently raised, meaning lifted. It was actually just too low. The current super tankers that we get all of our Chinese RCs from overseas, especially, from Banggood and everywhere else, they're just too big to be crossing under the current bridges that we have today. So they literally raised this bridge. Pretty interesting, man. I didn't think it could be done, but they got it done because, commerce, capitalism, globalization, that's what it's all about. We'll do anything to make sure that we get our products from overseas. We got some massive tolls going on in this whole area here. They privatized all of the roads. We'll be taking the south here, going towards Trenton. Trenton's one of the worst areas in, I think, all of the East Coast of America. But when you're driving what looks like a retired cop car, it's really no big deal. Nobody bothers you. Look at this, guys. I'm doing basically 65 miles an hour, which is over 100 kilometers an hour, and my engine RPM is a little bit over 1500. This is really where this car gets its fuel economy from. It's that low torque that keeps the car moving quick and the engine RPM low. Even at 77 miles an hour, I'm barely at 2,000 RPM. Man, this car is insane. Look at what we have here, Mercedes CLA 250. Is this even a real Benz? It's a front wheel drive four banger, guys. Front wheel drive. The first ever front wheel drive Mercedes. Is this Audi A4 1.8T afraid of boost? We don't need no boost. This is 4.6 liter V8 naturally aspirated. Ripping you, buddy. I'm ripping you. It is done. The associated MGT 8.0 is in the trunk of this car right now. Let me make my way home and then we're gonna check it out. I'm excited, guys. Can you feel it? Are you excited? This is exciting. We got the largest nitro engine you could have possibly gotten in about 2008, and it's in the back of the truck right now. Any good nitro vintage road trip has to have food in it. Guys, I am at Taco Bell. All this basically cost a little bit over $3. Let's see what I got. One should be some sort of chicken quesadilla. Chicken quesadilla, guys, Taco Bell. This is supposed to be a double stuffed taco. Let's see what they mean by double stuffed. They got a regular hard shell, they got a soft shell, looks like cheese in between here. And of course the classic Taco Bell beef concoction. You just gotta make sure to be by a bathroom within an hour or so. Man, this thing's actually really good. This is only $1, guys. This is their current Taco Bell promotion. You never know what we're gonna eat on the Nitro road trip, you know what I'm saying? I'm back home with the associated MGT 8.0. Here it is, guys. I wanted to show it to you in exactly the condition I picked it up. And if you're wondering, why is there a big black crate under it? Well, it came with a crate full of stuff. Some of it is original, there's some upgraded modded parts, and we're gonna take a look at this in a future video. If you are thinking to yourself, what kind of tires are these? Are these originals? Well, these are actually the really cool Proline Big Joe tires. They are what is known as 40 series wheels. These are specific rim size. This was a really popular upgrade for the Savage and the T-Maxes of the time. These were some of the widest and biggest wheels you could possibly have gotten for a 8th scale truck at that time, and this thing has them. There's actually modded items like spinners that you could put on the wheel rims themselves. I'm going to talk more about that in a future video. I just want to show you guys exactly what it is that I got. And I want to give a shout out to one of my friends and YouTubers, That's Just Nasty. I mentioned him in a prior video. He is what I like to call the MGT King because he has 2 of them. And man, I just wanted to let you know it's because of you, when I gave you a shout out in the last video, that one of the viewers reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to take his associated MGT, and that is actually how I came to be the owner of this one right here. But more on that later. This is just the road trip and pickup video. Don't you worry, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of interesting things on the specs, the way this is built. We're gonna take a look under the body. We're gonna open up this big black crate right here, and I'm gonna tell you guys, it's a lot of cool fun things in there alone. The original manuals, the original remote, the starting mechanism, which is actually like a drill, very similar to a Rotostar, but it looks like a drill. Freaking cool. I mean, Associated had to do that, why not? I'm using the Wayback Weigh machine, and we are looking at March 31st of 2010. This is the Team Associated product page of Tower Hobbies. I really like to do this kind of research because it lets you really kind of put things in perspective, see the entire product lineup that they had. So the one we have is right over here, the 1/8 scale Mazda GT 8.0 in stock. And of course here they also sell the 1/8 scale MGT 4.6 SE. It's basically exactly the same truck, except a little bit cheaper, and the one with a 4.6 engine. The MGT King has 2 of these guys. The one we have is right here. Let's now click the product information on the trucks themselves, just to check out the prices. At the time in 2010, the regular 4.6 MGT was selling for $399. Okay, let's go to the 8.0. The 8.0 was selling for $469. So actually not a bad price difference, only $70, and you get yourself one of the world's most insane off-road trucks with a giant engine with, you know, just great electronics for the time. Honestly, price-wise, this is not bad at all. If you look at it, the modern Traxxas Revo sells for more than this 8th scale beast right here. I mean, it's just incredible. In a future video, I'm also going to be covering this original article of the Associated MGT 8.0 from May 2008. Guys, this is basically when this thing debuted. Very interesting stuff. You could see when it debuted, it had a street price of $520. And you know what? Really isn't that bad in terms of what it was offering when it first came out on the market. This is a really good detailed article. I mean, I'm excited just to really go over this. We're not going to do it in this video because it's running a little bit long. This was more or less the pickup video, but it's always interesting to see the impressions they had. What I like about these magazines is they really present things cleanly, neatly, and back when these things were new. So they have a really nice engine size comparison here. So we could look at the pistons on the motors. This is a .21, this is a .28, and this is the .50. Can you guys tell the insane size difference? It's literally almost twice the size, which makes sense because it's a .50 displacement engine. Even though these two look almost similar, one of these is a helicopter engine, and how do you know which one it is? Well, it's this one because it has a side exhaust. So helicopters generally always have side exhaust ports. The 4.6 engine right over here, the smaller one, although it looks almost about the same size in terms of the block, you could tell it has a rear exhaust. So this is how you can readily identify which one is a .80, which is the one with the side exhaust, and which one is not a .80, the one with the rear exhaust. Pretty cool stuff. It also has very unique wheels that only this particular truck had. They called it a beefy forward reverse 2-speed transmission. And I already read some of this. It's actually very true. The situation is, these giant helicopter engines, the .80, is actually a very low RPM engine. Helicopters do not produce very high RPMs. The transmission in this model had to be tailored to account for the lower RPM, therefore the gears are much taller. We're going to get into this a little bit later. This is just a preview. But here it is, guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe. You know, I like a lot of this history stuff. We're going to get down into the nitty-gritty. We're going to examine the chassis in the future. Then we're going to start it up and let it rip. Thanks so much for watching. See you later. Till next time.